that I have today with me is Harold Bloom's commentary on the Hamlet, the famous play by William Shakespeare, and it's a great genius commentary on William Shakespeare because Shakespeare's text is hard to read, and uh, certain people can read it, but we all need some commentary or some summary of the play to understand it properly. And Harold Bloom's help us with that thing. But he's not just there to summarize the plays and to just comment on them. He's a critique. He's a critique in very constructive way and does a commentary very beautifully uh, of the play and what it had been. It's what it had been through the centuries because the play was written in 17th century, so it had been long. So so that's what the book is about, and it opens up with the first acts and what's happening in the first act and what's happening in other acts as well, and the scenes. So every act has scenes, and that's how most of the Shakespeare plays are. So and there are these um, famous soliloquies and monologues and and dialogues that I want to read. So just you could get some sense of what it is. Although uh, Shakespeare monologue never indicate what the plays are about, but it is beautiful to read them. I'm finding particularly the one that here it is. I lost it again. Here it is. So this is in the Act 3. This is the monologue that I'm talking about. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing and them to die to sleep no more, and by a sleep say we end the heartache and a thousand natural shocks that flesh is here too. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die to sleep perchance to dream, aye, there the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shocked of the mortal coil, must give us pause. There is the respect that makes cl- calamity. calamity. So it's calamity is written very differently here. Of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pang of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spoons, the patient marriage, the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quits make, when a bare bodkin who would fardel spare to go and sweat under a weary life, but that the dead, but the but that the dread of the smooth of something after life, the discovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the well, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. The thus consciousness does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of a great pitch and moment. With this regard, their current turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons be all my sins remembered. So this monologue talks about whether you should go against uh, the the obstacles and hindrances, the obstacles that life is giving you, whether you should fight or not. It's basically that the man's biggest conundrum throughout the centuries: should I fight or just live with nature as it is and not to retaliate against it? So that's what basically it's about. The other is Hamlet's monologue. Um, the one I read before was also from Hamlet. So Hamlet, this is the another monologue. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed a beast no more? Sure he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and the godlike reason to first in us unused. Now whether it be still oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on that event, a thought which foretold hath but one part wisdom, and ever three parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say these things to, to do. Sit I have cause and will and strength and means to do. Example gross as earth exhort me, witness this army of such mass and charge, lead by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puff makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare. Even for actual, rightly to be great, is not the stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in some straw, when honors at the stake, how stand I then that have father killed, a mother slain, excitement of my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I have imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and a trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try, because which is not Tom enough and continent to hide the slain, or from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. So it's another monologue. There is another there's dialogue that is very beautiful by the Queen. So it's in the Act 4. Queen says, there as a willow grows aslant a brook, the shows her hoary leaves in the glassy stream, there with fan- fantasy garlands did she make of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. The liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds, chambering to hang an envious silver brock, when round her weedy trophies and herself fell in weeping brook, her cloth spread wide, and mermaid like, a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lords, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endowed onto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments heavy with their drink pulled the poor wretch from the middle sleigh to the muddy death. I think I should also introduce the characters of the Hamlet. So the main characters of the Hamlet are So the main character of Hamlet are Hamlet himself. He's a prince, and the old Hamlet, his father, who was a king, and and Gertrude is a Hamlet's mother, the widow of old Hamlet, and the wife of Cloydus. And Cloydus is Hamlet's uncle. Horatio is Hamlet's friend and confidant. Polonius is the advisor to Cloydus and father of Ophelia. Ophelia is the daughter of Poenis and the sister of Laertus is the son of Polonius and the brother of Ophelia. Fortinbras is the son of the late king of Norway, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. These are the main characters. Reuben Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are the school friends of Hamlet. So these are the main characters in the book. This book is very covers a lot of criticism throughout the centuries. So actually, this is like that, and it covers a lot of uh, criticism of Shakespeare and Hamlet in particular. And there is this by Thomas Cryle, which appeared in 1824.